Well, first things first, a very Merry Christmas to you, because I think I can just about articulate that. That's fine. Hope you've had a very good one. Welcome to Boxing Day, welcome to Carrow Road, and welcome to where it's happened again. Norwich City not winning. They managed only to pick up a point here at home to Nottingham Forest. It finished 3-3, as the Nottingham Forest Twitter account put, and as if that was barely scratching the surface of actually what has happened. A remarkable game of football, so many ups and downs and talking points, and I'm trying to make these video verdicts a little bit shorter because they're going on a little bit, so I'll do my best to try and squeeze this all in with a degree of sense if I can. But to put it straightforward, Forest were 3-0 up, and they were still 3-0 up with about 12-13 minutes to go, and they were still 3-1 up in the 94th minute. And Norwich managed to equalise inside those final four minutes, or score twice and equalise inside those final 4 minutes of injury time. To scenes even this season we've seen quite something here, but to come back from 3-0 down against a team that have spent more money than Wolves last year and are pushing desperately hard to be promoted, not even finish in the top six. Aita Karanka as manager, and we all know what he's done in the past and how his sides have shut up shop. We saw it today with Forest's time wasting, to be honest, and gamesmanship and things like that we've seen anyway. We know how they go about things. So many talking points. Matty Cash got Forest gave Forest the lead just before the stroke of half time. It was an error from Max Aarons. Fair play to Max, because it didn't really hamper him for the rest of the game, and it could have done. And his teammates should take some credit for that, for also making sure he picked up his head. That was harsh on Norwich. Norwich were really good in some spells in the first half. It was a really good game. There was a lot going on. Norwich had really good spells, better chances, and probably should have been ahead at half time. And interestingly, Forest actually turned Norwich around so that they would defend the Barkley in the second half. We haven't seen that here for a while. Obviously it didn't make any difference, but you never know at the time. And the other notable incident I think in the first half was that Marco Stiepermann could possibly have been sent off. It was a big old lunge on Jack Robinson. He didn't connect with his front foot, which was probably what saved him from a straight red, because if he had done, he would have had to have gone. He took Robinson out with his trailing leg. I don't actually know how much an injury it was. Everyone kind of played into it in terms of the Forest fans, and he did dive in from a long way. To me, a yellow card was probably right, but that's partly using the lack of a connection and the lack of actual contact with his front leg. And you shouldn't really do that with the decision, because it's not really judging that. It's the intent of the tackle, and not even the intent of the tackle, but what the tackle is in itself. So he was probably lucky. I think a yellow was the right call, but he was probably lucky to stay on the pitch. But that moment did alter the game, and it tilted it from Norwich sort of dominating, to be honest, to Forest having a lot more of the play and feeling a lot more comfortable in it. It wasn't the first controversial moment from referee John Brooks either. The first time I've known him to officiate a Norwich match, off the top of my head, and be interesting when he next does one, to be honest. The second half then, Norwich, a big moment at 1-0, and I'm pretty sure it was at 1-0. Callum Robinson handled the ball in the box. Don't really think that was a debate. He went to clear. He wasn't under any particular pressure, but he handled the ball, clearing the ball, ran away right in front of the linesman. Neither gave the penalty. He was already on a yellow card as well, but I don't think that's really a contentious point. But just a penalty. It's not even a debate. They'd obviously decided it wasn't, and I don't really know why. And a moment after that, Danny Fox, who'd already been booked, and Teemu Pukki coming together. There was a shove from Teemu. Now, he ended up with a booking. Fox didn't. If it was for the shove, that's harsh, but at least an explanation. If it was for the fact that they both got up and were basically rutting each other, then that made no sense, because Fox was the instigator and kept it going, and it had to be a second yellow. And to be honest, the shove wasn't really worthy of a yellow on its own. So to my mind, yes, Marco probably fortunate. Likewise, Danny Fox should have been off the pitch, and Norwich should have had a penalty. All before, and within seconds, Jack Robinson went up the other end and prodded home from a free kick that was kind of spilt by Tim Krul, probably being a little bit harsh. I would probably put a slight question mark over Tim Krul for the first goal as well, being beaten at his near post, but it was obviously it was much more Max's fault. But and then the third goal on the counter, Matty Cash getting his second. that was it really, because at that point we'd also seen Teemu Pukki have an effort saved from about a yard out, and I tweeted, well, that's that then, isn't it? Norwich, it's not going to happen for Norwich today, and it feels like it. Norwich have been on a brilliant run. And then it all kicked off really. Mario Vrancic, within seconds of me tweeting that, deflected shot out of nothing really. Norwich then had loads of chances before the 94th minute, and now Hernandez managed to get the ball across to the far post. I think went in off the far post, and then in the 98th minute a wonderful dummy from Tim Closer allowed Hernandez to go in, to get through, and might have clipped a little bit of a deflection with his shot, but then by the same token it was a brilliant finish, however, and it was 3-3. So I haven't really seen those two goals properly, to be honest, so hopefully that's not too sketchy, but it is Boxing Day, so I'm sure you'll forgive me. So where we go from here, I have no idea, because I mean Leeds managed to, when you break it all down, Norwich obviously dropped 2 points, but they did win at Blackburn, so they're probably still on their sort of trajectory. A huge game obviously coming up on Saturday at home to Derby. Leeds have won today, West Brom have won as well, so they're now closer, and the dynamic shift away from the exhilaration of the injury time is that things are closing in around Norwich a little bit. I think they have to tighten up, because defensively they're causing themselves all sorts of issues, and that was clearly an issue with being 3-0 down at home. Got to stop shipping so many goals. Forest are a really good side when they get the ball down. They've got a lot of ability. Tom Cash, I'm a big fan of, and Carvalho caused a few issues today as well. They're a decent side, but they're just horribly naive at the back. I mean, the way they defended in those last 10-15 minutes, nuts really, to be honest, and they'll be really interesting. I can't see them competing for the top 2, Forest. They're just too fragile, so then you're saying, okay, finish in the top 6, but they're outside of that at the moment, and it's going to be really competitive finishing in the top 6 this year, so a bit of a tall order for them, if I'm brutally honest. It'll be interesting to see if they spend money in January, but likewise what they do with Ita, because if they do keep slipping up like this, I don't know. I mean, the Forest fans seem to think it'll be Ita or bust, but if they look like they're going to miss out, I would imagine that board will not be too happy and would want to make a change before things go wrong. I don't know. Who knows? We won't see them again all season until maybe the playoffs. We'll have to see. So we'll let them get on with it. And the big issue, of course, for Norwich is injuries now. Moritz Leitner is out until the end of January with the ankle ligament damage he picked up at Blackburn. That's, of course, a huge blow. Emi Buendia went off. It looked like he went over on his ankle. He's now wearing a boot as well and went off on crutches, or left the ground on crutches anyway. So he clearly won't be playing on Saturday and may well now face a few weeks out. Jamal Lewis went out with a hamstring strain. And I have a feeling there's one more, but I can't think of what it was. So maybe that was it. Yes. And Christoph Zimmermann didn't make it after the warm-up. So Tim Closer actually started the game. So we don't know how bad Zimbo is either. So that's another one, of course, that Norwich can have to deal with. Although centre-backs, you'd have to say they're pretty solid today. And again, fair play Ben Godfrey. There was the odd mistake, but he never stopped going. And he was a threat at the other end as well. As was Tim Closer. I think Norwich were playing Tim Closer, Rhodes, Pukki, and then Hernandez and Stiepermann all as a front line. Just phenomenal really in terms of the bravery, because they were so open up the back, yet Daniel really went for it. There you go. It's a hard one to really assess because it's just a bit of a nuts afternoon. We are kind of used to them. We'll see what happens on Saturday, because that's going to be a tall order. Derby have got some excellent players. Harry Wilson is probably one of the top 3 players in the Championship. Outstanding prospect. It's going to be very tough, and they've lost today at Sheffield United, so that'll be interesting. Forest gave a bit of a reaction for Aitor today. Frank Lampard will be expecting the same of his Frank Lampard Derby side on Saturday. So, and of course we'll be here, PinkUn.com, will have all the reaction and analysis throughout. Just a final word though, Norwich's equaliser coming in the 98th minute. Myself, Dave Freezer, Paddy Davitt, all on our feet for the first time in 11 years. That's the first time I've known that to happen, which probably says it all about just the ridiculousness of this afternoon's game. Anyway, loads more fallout, reaction and analysis, PinkUn.com. I'm sure I've missed loads. That will be the place to find it when I realise it. And we'll see you back here on Saturday for Frank Lampard's Derby.